Hey, coming up this week, we're going to show you how to diagnose and troubleshoot a big rig transmission.
Not only are we going to look at the transmission, we're going to show you the right way to do it, check the entire system, and get it done at the right place.
All that and more on Motorhead Garage. I got this out of the way here, Sam. All right. Hey, welcome to Motorhead Garage. Well, we're here at Inland Truck Parts and Service here in Kansas City, Missouri. And what we have is a big rig up here on the lift. The problem with these trucks is they'll run 500, a million miles most of the time without too many problems. But in this particular case, got a transmission problem.
Well, you know, you got a transmission like this, takes a lot of fluid, probably got 18, 20, 30 quarts in it. You never know. This is an Eaton Fuller. It's a 13-speed Road Ranger, real popular transmission.
Right.
Find them in all these trucks. This guy's got a noise. It's growling inside the transmission. When you take it out, you want to make sure you check everything, not just the transmission, so you don't put a problem back in.
Exactly, and that's what we're going to do here today. We've got everything down, and it's not a matter of just fixing the transmission. It's trying to find out what caused the transmission to go bad in the first place. That's what we're going to do. I've got the drive shaft out. We're going to take the clutch out. We're going to check everything. Meanwhile, I'm going to take this out and take a tour of this place as well. So
I'm going to take a walk over to put this transmission over to Inland's transmission overhaul place and show you exactly how they do failure analysis and tear a transmission down.
Well, now we're here in the warehouse. I wanted to take a tour and see what this looks like here at Inland Truck Parts and Service. They've got a complete warehouse, got over $1 million worth of parts in it, and they have this in over 27 stores around the country. Actually, it's probably in the Midwest, from Canada down to Texas. If you need a part, they can get it for you pretty darn quick. You know, if a trucker breaks down on the road, he's got a transmission problem, you know, he can get it remanufactured here at Inland, or he can put in a reman unit. But if he's out in the boonies somewhere and he needs one, he can have one shipped right to him. Well, now we're in the area where they do the rebuilding or remanufacturing of the transmissions. And if you look right over here on this wall, you can see they have a whole bunch of rebuilt differentials back here all ready to go. They can install them here, or like I said before, they can ship these things out to any place in the country. But this is where they do it all. And in fact, I think I see Sam right over there. He's hard at work. Let's check him out.
Just like any big assembly that's been under a truck for 400, 500, 600,000 miles, it's going to be nasty. So here at Inland Truck Parts and Service, they got those big dishwashers, clean everything up. Now this is a 13-speed Eaton Road Ranger transmission. It's two boxes, a front box and a back box. This is all nice and cleaned up. What you want to do is inspect all of the bores where the bearings ride, look where the circlips go and that kind of stuff. Check all the threads, make sure there's no cracks in the case. This is all looking pretty good. I've been through most of it. This thing's got like a really big gears in it. I mean, when you look at this stuff, it's not like a passenger car. This stuff is massive. And of course, you got a couple of counter shafts back there. You got a synchronizer assembly. Got a big shift fork, and of course what this does is this moves the gears in and out, and it's not only high low range, but it kind of splits. You got 3 speeds back here, you got 5 speeds up front. You get a combination of gears which gives you 13 speeds over the road. So it really gives you some overdrive too, which helps with fuel economy. All of that looks pretty good. Even the bearings look pretty good. Been running a little bit low on oil, but we're going to replace those anyway. Always put new bearings in. So this tells us the problem is in the main gearbox here, and what we need to do is pull the cover off it and get a good look inside this. Right now we need to take a break, so while I'm taking this off, we're going to take a short break. Don't go away.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Low Car Performance Products, is being brought to you by ARP, the world leader in heavy-duty fastener technology. And by Inland Truck Parts and Service, products and service you can rely on. And by Stage 8 Locking Fasteners, the world's best locking fasteners.
ARP, the world leader in fastener technology, the fasteners of champions.
Do what we do. Use ARP fasteners.
They are the best in the business. I'll do nothing but ARP.
I go to ARP.
We don't take any chances, and that's why our equipment is ARP.
We use nothing but ARP to keep our rides tight and right. We won 3 championships using ARP fasteners.
We use nothing but ARP.
You got to surround yourself with the best, and that's ARP. You have my word on that.
ARP, the world leader in fastener technology.
Since their creation, Americans have strived to make their cars their own. They've cut, chopped, slammed, hammered, welded, painted, and customized them. As Americans, we have the freedom to push the limits, the fortitude to change, to make good things great and great things better. For some, it's a hobby. For others, it's a passion. For Locar, it's an obsession.
Hi, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. We're here at Inland Truck Parts and Service, taking this 13-speed Road Ranger apart. Got all the bolts off this cover. Now, there's a little trick to get these covers off, because you're an alignment dowel right there. I got it. And again, it's heavy. You can see the 3 shift forks and all the shift rails. Again, not much different than a passenger car with a manual. This explains why this truck was towed in. This input shaft gear is totally bald. If you look at the counter gears that it runs, they're blue, they're gone, so those need to be replaced. So what we need to do is disassemble this transmission, look at all of them, but it looks like here in the front of the gearbox, this is a lubrication failure. This thing was run low on oil. It probably started making a racket based on the fact that I can move the input shaft a lot. But guy doesn't own the truck, he's driving for a fleet, keeps his foot in it till it quits, and then he makes a cell phone call for the tow truck. So, I noticed that when we looked at this back box, it had oil on it, the rear seal was leaking. That let the oil run out. So to rebuild this transmission is an expensive proposition. Put it all back together, even with a new seal, put it back in the truck. If you don't find out what took out the rear seal, which is most likely a drive shaft vibration, he's not going to do the guy a good service. So while I'm doing this, Dave's in the drive shaft shop, because here at Inland Truck Service, they check the entire drive line. He's going to make sure it's right.
Okay. All right. Well, here's what we've done. We've taken the old drive shaft off, brought it over here, put it on the machine, and what we're doing is we're checking this thing out because we want to find out what caused that seal to leak in the transmission. So what I have, I've jigged it up here in the balancing machine. What we have is a new yoke. This has been set up, and it goes along with the machine. It's already zeroed out, actually, so that when we measure this, we're measuring exactly this. What we want to do is we want to see if this thing is bent at all. We should have less than 10/1000ths of an inch run out, and that's why I was slicking this down so we get a nice good reading. And what we're seeing here is looks like we're getting probably almost over 20/1000ths run out. So we've got a problem with this drive shaft. That could be what caused the problem there. What we're going to do is we're going to check these yokes. If we can reuse the old yoke, we'll do that. If not, we'll put on a new one. But we're going to retube this drive shaft. So let me get that set up. In the meantime, let's check out Sam, see where he is on that transmission.
All right, now that I've got all of the retainers off holding this bell housing on, let me get this last washer here so I don't lose it. You don't just take the bell housing off and throw it on the bench. Because what you have here, you have bushings, and that's for the clutch cross shaft where the release bearing rides. And there's a grease fitting. You even grease the grease fit, the throwout bearing in these things. One hangs out down through the bell housing. So if a guy's been lazy, because these are hard to see, if the lube guy hasn't gotten these, that's going to be worn out, and you'll need to rebush it. So those will get inspected. That'll get cleaned up good. We're ready to go there. Now, I'll take this retainer off. Got a bunch of bolts there. That retains the front bearing and the input shaft. And also, you got your little snap ring here that holds that front bearing in. And you can see these bearings here. That must have got pretty hot. And look at all this stuff. Now the next thing is we got to spin this around and take this retainer off back here, which has a big ball bearing. We're going to need a complete bearing kit and a lot of gears for this. I'm going to continue to disassemble this until I get everything out, get all the parts together that I need to put it back together.
All right, now here's what we've done. We've taken the old drive shaft out. What we've done is we put in a new tube. We retubed it. We've used the old yoke on this thing. That's in good shape, so all we have to do is put in a new cross and we're in business. The next step, though, is we've got to balance it. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to show you how we do that, so stay in there.
Are you looking for weather stripping for your classic car or truck? Do you need replacement rubber parts for your street rod or restoration project? Steel Rubber Products supplies the highest quality restoration rubber parts for your classic, antique, or custom rod. From window and door weather stripping to a wide variety of roof rails, bumpers, and seals, Steel has the rubber parts you need for your restoration project. With great fit and authentic look, Steel Rubber Products has the rubber parts to help restore the car of your dreams. To find the parts you need, log on to steelrubber.com today or call Steel at 800-650-4482 for a free catalog.
For 30 years, OPGI has led the way in restoration and performance parts for your Chevelle, El Camino, and Monte Carlo. Manufacturer direct pricing assures you of the finest quality at the lowest possible prices with the largest selection of in-stock parts anywhere guaranteed. From interior parts to engine, sheet metal, and everything in between, if it exists, OPGI has what you need. Visit OPGI.com today for your free full-color catalog.
Inland Truck Parts, serving the industry since 1944. Now with 27 locations, offering a full range of parts and services for trucks, trailers, farm, and oil field equipment. With in-house remanufacturing of transmissions, differentials, drive shafts, and more, Inland is your one-stop for quality parts and fast service. This employee-owned company carries a complete line of truck parts at all 27 locations and full-service truck repair at 20 locations. Inland Truck Parts Company, products and service you can rely on. Now you can view the condition of your engine cooling system while the engine is running with the CoolView thermostat housing. Mounted between the engine and the water neck, you can actually see the coolant and the thermostat opening. The glass is Pyrex and rated at 150 psi at 500 degrees. Every CoolView comes already pressure tested and fully assembled. Available for most big block and small block applications. Now you can instantly diagnose blown head gaskets or engine cracks. Learn more at CoolViewThermostat.com. The viewable thermostat.
Remember to like Motorhead Garage TV on Facebook.
Welcome back. You can see I've got all the parts laid out. They put that transmission totally disassembled, inspected everything. It's run on oil, real low. A lot of things are burnt. So we're going to replace a lot of parts. Now, at Inland Truck Parts and Service, when they overhaul a transmission, automatically going to get all the bearings. You got ball bearings, taper bearings, you got roller bearings. We're going to get all the seals and all the pneumatics. There's air components to this transmission. When you're shifting, there's little valves that lock out the shift rail so you get the right combination of gears, pressure regulator valves, all kinds of stuff like that. Also, you're going to replace these synchronizers because they have material on them, clutch material. And these little fingers, by the way, if you have a bad drive shaft vibration, you can snap these off. These go in the back box, of course. Here's a new main shaft, new shift forks. Now, on the input shaft, it had that gear on it that was stripped. It was all burned up. This is the gear. This is 2 pieces, okay? This goes in like this. It's held in with a snap ring. There you go. So if you have a good input shaft and the gear's gone, you only have to change the gear. In most cases, what they do here is they replace everything. The new input shaft, because this is where your clutch rides, that's your pilot bearing. Got all your gear sets here for the counter gears. And of course, you got a new oil pump. There's bushings here that we use. Those go in the bell housing for the clutch cross shaft. All of this stuff gets replaced. Now, you're talking about 12 hours on the bench to rebuild one of these transmissions. You got about 8 hours on the shop time. You got a day and a half, 2 days, 2.5 days, your truck's down. What they offer here is a complete reman transmission. It's a set fixed price. They're on the shelf. You can turn your truck around in about 8 hours. You get 1 day, you get everything. So, and they get a 1 year unlimited mileage warranty. So it's a great way to go. Gets you in and out fast, gets everything you need to be replaced, and of course save you from having your whole transmission repaired, waiting 2.5 days, and you could have bigger problems. If you run real dry, you could end up eating up the bores in the case. They actually take each case and they CNC machine it. They basically blueprint it back to where it was the factory specs. So it's a great way to go. When this is all assembled, it's going to be just as good as a brand new transmission off the shelf. Now, they have 27 locations. Each location has a $75,000 drive shaft balancing machine where they do the work on it. That's what Davey's working on. I can't imagine anybody trusting him with $75,000 worth of equipment. Let's go watch and see how he breaks it.
Okay, here's what I'm doing, folks. We're balancing this drive shaft now. And what we've had to do is add a few weights to it, but we're really getting it fine-tuned right now. I have it on the balance machine. What I've done is I've figured out about where it's supposed to go, and it should be right about there. So we're going to try this little weight here. Put it here right about, let me bring this up about like so, and we'll put her right about there. What this does is this kind of adds some weight to it to kind of balance this shaft. We'll go ahead and we'll tape this right about there. Now, what we'll do is we'll run this. We'll see how close we are. So let's give her a shot. And let me bring this back a little bit. And it looks like we're pretty much right on the money here. Takes a little bit of time to do it. You take your time, do it right. You can bring this thing right in so it's perfect. That's going to make a lot of difference to how long that truck can run on the road, and it will save the rest of the drive line. Let's see how Sam's coming along there.
While Davey's attempting to break their drive shaft machine and build up that drive shaft, with the help of some of the guys here at Inland, I got the transmission all back together. Let me show you a couple little things that are interesting. These gears all have to blend just right to work to get the right combinations, and they actually have factory timing marks on it to make it easy. They put some yellow paint. You can see these have to line up, these have to line up. They're almost like timing marks. You got 2 yellow teeth and 2 orange teeth. Everything's got a mesh. When that's done right with the paint, you can look down and see that, and that's really critical. That has to be done right. You follow the manual. Got a brand new fresh gasket on here. Got our alignment dowel pins in. This is the back box. It's all assembled. We're going to marry the back box to the front box, okay? And then what I'll do is put in all the bolts, and then once it's bolted down, I'll torque it to the factory specs. I can put some oil in it, put the cover on it, and our next move will be put this on a transmission dynamometer because they dyno test every gearbox for noise, shifting, and leaks before it ever goes in a truck.
All right, well, now that we've got the drive line all squared away and got that problem fixed, you know, once you get all that stuff out, you're down to the clutch. You want to check that. because you got to take everything out to get to it anyway. So we've got the old clutch here. We're going to check this out. As you can see, it's got a lot of wear on it, the multi-plate clutch. Now's the time to replace it. And we'll do that right after the break. Stay with us.
We've all experienced that tough-to-reach bolt where a socket wrench just won't reach. Well, now you can get the job done easier and safer with the Tight Reach extension wrench. Couple the Tight Reach with your 3/8 socket set for an extra 10 inches of reach. You'll get the job done faster by having more swing on your driver. And the extra reach will protect your hands and knuckles from those hot or sharp objects. You can use the Tight Reach with an impact driver up to 200 foot-pounds of torque. The Tight Reach comes with a lifetime warranty. Tight Reach is not available in stores, so order at tightreach.com.
TA and Petro Stopping Centers, where all highway travelers can refuel, replenish, and refresh with nationally branded gasoline. The cleanest restrooms on the highway. Over 365 quick service and full service restaurants. Fully stocked travel stores with everything from batteries to healthy snacks, even gifts and kids items. Industry leading truck repair, maintenance, and roadside assistance. Open 24 hours a day, all year long. It's why we've been voted best by professional drivers year after year.
Subway restaurants are bringing the Subway Auto Expo to Knoxville, Tennessee. They've got it all. Monster trucks, jet dragster car burning, nitro 20 car warm-up, kiddie rides, Woman's World manufacturers Midway, burnout contest, a $1,000 cash purse for each class, and more. Experience the raw power of the Subway Auto Expo in person June the 15th through the 17th, or watch it on Fox Sports Net. For ticket and event information or to pre-enter your vehicle, visit subwayautoexpo.com.
Motorhead Garage, presented by Low Car Performance Products, is being brought to you by Original Parts Group, world's largest source of GMA body parts and accessories. And by Inland Truck Parts and Service, products and service you can rely on. And by Low Car Performance Products, quality, plain and simple.
Hey, welcome back to Motorhead Garage. Well, we're here in the area where we grind the flywheels. Now, we're talking about doing really a complete diagnosis of this system, and you want to recondition about everything in it so everything is right when that trucker goes back on the road. One thing, though, is on the flywheel, how do you know how far to grind it? Well, what they have is a gauge on here, and I've had them mark it so you could see it, but it's a little bevel here. It's about 1/8 of an inch. That lets them know how far they can grind this thing over the life of this flywheel. Once they get below that, then they got to start measuring it. There is a minimum thickness on that. If you get it too thin, then you have all kind of clutch problems. You get chatter, heat, everything else, so you don't want to do that. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll grind this, and we'll get this all reconditioned.
All right, now that we got this transmission all together, we've got oil in it, mounted on the dyno. At Inland Truck Parts and Service, every transmission they build, quality control, put on the dyno, filled with oil, and they run it to check it for shifting, for oil leaks, for noise, slow the dyno down a little bit, pop it in gear. This is a clutch. There I am, you can see what gear it's in. With our splitter and our high-low range, we can go in and out of overdrive. They can check all the gears just like it's going to work in a truck. And of course, there's a lot going on in there. Let me slow this down. Now, like I said, a lot going on in there. To show you what's happening, we've got a cutaway here. This is a great transmission. Same thing. You can see all the gears working. You can see the back box, how the forks work. And you can show if we had air to this thing, compressed air, we could operate the shifter and show you all the different gear combinations where 5 here and 3 here combine to give you 13 speed, what they call a low inertia transmission. You're going to find this in big trucks all over the road. It's a great gearbox.
All right, are you done playing?
I'm never done playing. I'm having a look at all this machinery, buddy.
Oh, boy, I tell you, this is great. Well, we've got our flywheel resurfaced here. You can see that came out pretty nice.
That's a nice job.
Didn't have to take much off of it, but it worked out well. We got a new pilot bearing in here as well. And of course then we have our new clutch, you know, throw the pressure plate, everything in here. So this is important to really resurface a flywheel before you put on a new clutch, because it lets the surfaces bed in a lot better, gives you a lot smoother operation, no chatter, this type of thing.
Absolutely. And like we talked about those bushings in the bell housing with the clutch fork rides, all that's got to be right, or you'll be chasing clutch chatter, a quick clutch engagement, which is tough on the drive line. So this is, you're doing it right, the only way to do it.
I tried to do it right. Anyway, it worked out well.
Yeah, we've been focusing on this 13-speed and all these manual transmissions. They build them from small pickup truck transmissions to the biggest things on the market. But again, we've been focusing on manual. Inland is also an Allison specialist. They got 3 Allison overhaul and build centers around the country. And of course, it's their one-stop shop right here. You can get suspension work, brake work, any driveline service, transmissions, clutches.
And they're just as close as a phone call, or you can check them out on their website as well.
Yeah, they've been in business since the 40s. And about 15, 16 years ago, they added service, so you can get everything done. They're a great operation, dedicated to customer service, and they're employee-owned and operated.
They sure are. And we want to thank Dave Shear, the president of Inland Truck. He's done a great job, got a great crew here, and especially the other fellows in there, Rick Smith, Jeff Garafola, Jim Adams, and Craig Schmidt. They all done a great job. Made our visit here really great.
Don't leave out one key person.
Stacy?
Stacy brought us.
She supplied the lunch. We can't beat that. Anyway, now you can see what one little problem like that vibration in the drivetrain can cause a lot of problems, so you want to make sure you get it checked out. We've run out of time. We'll see you again next time here at Motorhead Garage.
So long. All right, buddy, you want some help putting this flywheel up?
I'm going to need it.
These are heavy.
I know.
No doubt about it. It's a new trans brake. You got everything, huh? I'll shut this off.